One of your main jobs as a leader is to manage time, tasks, people, and finances. To do that well, you need knowledge. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish from a lack of knowledge." You have too many things on your plate to add perishing to the list. I want to show you how PointActive can help you make technology work for you. Good things come in small packages, and this little keypad is more powerful than you might imagine. Let's say that your task is to hold an election or take a vote within your denomination or fellowship. If you're like most, you've used paper ballots or verbal affirmation. It gets the job done, so why change what's working? Let's apply some of that PointActive technology thinking. If the average election takes 4 rounds of votes to determine a winner, and it takes about 30 minutes to count each vote, you quickly see why most meeting planners schedule 2 to 4 business sessions lasting 8 to 10 hours. So what do your people really end up doing during those sessions? Mostly waiting. Waiting up to 8 or more hours while the votes are counted. And what do you end up doing? Filling time. Not that all of those videos aren't great, but instead of your agenda driving how you spend your time, the waiting is driving how you fill your time. But if you were to use the PointActive technology, each vote takes a matter of minutes to choose, vote, verify, and display the results. Business sessions that have taken hours and a room full of tellers can be reduced to a few minutes with a clear record of each vote.
Virtually no trees were harmed during the tabulation of these votes. And paper cuts were reduced by 97%.
Oh. So not only have you saved time, you're saving trees and fingers as well.
That's right.
So what is the cost to go from this to this? It's about one of these per person. Yes, this little keypad can count votes like a maniac, but it's when you start using it to help manage and lead your people that its power kicks into overdrive. Now that you've taken back all those extra hours from your business session, you can take care of a little people business. Using the same keypad, you can use the PointActive Ministerial Health Survey to ask probing questions that get to the heart of the issues facing your ministers, their churches, and their families. Because everyone knows their answers are anonymous, they're more likely to answer with greater transparency and honesty.
Well, let me get this straight. I get to tell you what I'm thinking, but you don't get to know that it's me telling you.
Right.
I like it.
Even if you're not planning on doing any voting business during your next meeting, you may want to consider bringing PointActive in just to do the Ministerial Health Survey. It's still a great value. It was Ben Franklin who said...
Oh, I know this. He said, "A penny saved is a penny earned."
Yes, he did. But he also said, "An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest."
I'm sure he said a lot of stuff, smarty pants. The point is, he would have thought PointActive is a great value.
Yes, I'm sure he probably would have.
I got stuff to do.
Be sure and talk to your PointActive representative to make sure you get the most knowledge out of your investment. Finally, you may be the pastor of a local church, and PointActive wants to help you too.
Well, I was in charge of our connection in our church for about 3-4 years, and every year we would just use hundreds and thousands of papers to try to figure out what people were thinking, and it was just paper, and people just rolled their eyes. It was never something they wanted to do. And even when you gave it out, there was no guarantee. We'd have to bribe with food and other things to even get the stuff back. And rarely did we get any real data that was usable. And so we went to PointActive because everybody in the room had a chance to answer accurately, had a chance to do it anonymously all at one time. And instantaneously, we had feedback on everything we've been trying to get in for years. In the second year, when we came back to do the survey, we found out that there was a significant increase in the spiritual disciplines of our people based off of the information, the things we did from the first year. People were reading their Bibles more, people were praying more, because we had pinpointed some of the things that they could do to process the information that came from that first year survey. When our team came together after we had the survey, it was honestly overwhelming. So many questions we have been asking for years were suddenly on spreadsheets in front of us. And sometimes you think you want to know what's going on, but when you get it, it gave us direction. But it put us to work, and I think there was this sense of empowerment knowing that we were working on the right things. Because there's so many things you do in church, so you're not sure if your efforts are being put in the right place. And we knew, okay, these are the needs of our people. These are the spiritual needs, these are the physical needs, these are some of the interests, and we can begin to not move our programs to accommodate what people were thinking, but we could better serve them because we knew where they were and what they were thinking and what they were going through. If I were going to speak to pastors, I would say that you have the opportunity here to get information you've never had before. And it's really easy for us to stay in the mindset that we've always been in, but the mindset that we've always been in does not necessarily produce the results that we always want. This is the opportunity to actually hear from your people, to actually put on a screen in front of them all the truth that you know to be true, but yet it comes from a different place. And I would say to every pastor, every church, this could be so useful to them, not just for the demographic information and for their programming, but also for the spiritual health of their congregation.
These are just some of the ways that you can put the PointActive technology to work for you. Really, the only limit is your imagination. What questions do you need answered?